Hello everyone, this is Alan and it's 4:55 p.m. in Adelaide, South Australia today, and it's a beautiful beautiful evening because it's about to rain, I think, but it's cloudy, it's beautiful. I mean, what more I could ask for except chapter 8 from the book of Genesis. Well, now we are coming towards the salvation of Noah and his family, right? Because till the last chapter they were in the middle of a flood. Okay, now Lord realized that okay, now the flood has been going on for a while, and it's time to pull back the floods, right? Because I think this can be attributed to human life. Well, their bad time comes, and then it doesn't stay for long, right? It might last for a day, 2 days, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, but it's never forever. Well, you can increase its longevity by being unable to comprehend and control what's going around you. That's the only way that things can get worse, by not doing what you're supposed to do. Well, if you did what you're supposed to do, the thing about life, what I've realized is that things come together anyways if you do what you're supposed to do. Let's say, you tomorrow have let's say today you have a bad day, and then you said, what, I'm not going to work out, I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do, and you just lie there. Well, the problem with that is, even though it feels comfortable, it is not. And that's what discipline is, what I've realized. If you did what you're supposed to do, your mind just configures yourself in such a way that as if you were having a normal day. And that's the beauty about discipline. And I don't think that no one really talks about, and I don't think anyone really talks about it. But anyway, Noah has been checking if the waters did go down, because it's been a cruise on the ark for more than 100 days. It's been so long, and it's starting to get to Noah, I guess. Of course, if you are like on the waves all the time, on the water all the time, obviously there's only a certain extent that you would like the experience, no? But anyway, so what Noah started doing was he started to send out a raven to go around and check if the waters had dried. Okay, now after the raven was done, he would send a dove. He started sending a dove. All right. And now always the dove always came back to Noah, because doves, if you see around nature, they would usually sit on a branch and they would be just sit there, right? They don't really like the enclosed space. It's like every animal likes to be free, almost every animal, right? So according to chapter 8 verse 11, the big day has come, there is hope, the bad day has come to an end. Then the dove came back to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth, and Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. Well, there is a glimmering hope that you start seeing, right? When you put in so much work into something, there is probably, you've been in a business for 3 months and you didn't get any client, but then a contract arrives. Thank God for that, right? Now, that's that hope, that silver thread that you try to hold on to. That's the dove with the olive leaf in its mouth. Well, it also signifies peace, by the way. So this was, let's say, the first sign of peace from God to Noah. Okay, now after 7 days, the floods dried up. All right, and let's say it got dried up enough so that the dove did not come back to Noah now. It just stayed outside. It's like, children, they go outside, they explore the world, and they realize that there's so much to explore, and they just busy themselves trying to conquer the world in some sense. All right, all right. So, according to chapter 8, verse 20, then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered offerings on the altar. Well, why does it say clean animals and clean birds? It's because probably the reason that people end up in bad times is because they made improper sacrifices, like Cain, right? even Cain and Abel both made sacrifices, but Abel's sacrifices were good enough for the Lord. So let's say if you don't make the proper sacrifices, the clean sacrifices, probably you are making the unclean sacrifices, which ends you up, which makes you end up in a bad time, in a phase of suffering that probably people can't imagine to bear, right? So Noah, after he got out of the ark, he offered clean birds and animals, which are clean sacrifices. Moving ahead, in chapter 8, verse 21, it goes, "And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done." So it can be something like, it can be understood something like, let's say the Lord realized after seeing the sacrifice, so now he was happy, right? Noah made the proper sacrifice, so he could see, okay, now it's good, and probably I shouldn't have done such an act towards humanity. Well, that's what you do, right? When people make small mistakes, they just dig themselves deep. For some reason they are very hard towards themselves, and it's not easy to deal with. Well, how do you realize how much do you really have to beat yourself down to understand probably the behavior that you exhibited during that circumstance was not good enough, or probably to realize, well, how much coercion do I need to correct my behavior? Well, I think the people around you are a good measure. They will tell you, the people who you can trust, they will tell you how much that you need to sacrifice, and you'll realize that through experiences. And sometimes people can go off the far end, but it's no reason to not get out and see the challenges of life, which might take you down, but it doesn't, and just makes you stronger. And I think that's why we are put on this earth, to see how far we can go, how much can we correct ourselves, and if we wanted to expand as human beings, how much disciplined could we get, and and create something that is valuable to you, your family, and to the people around you. And those are my thoughts regarding this chapter. Take care.